Hello and welcome to the Elephant and Bear podcast, the show dedicated to sharing interesting tales from around Coventry and Warwickshire. I'm your host Neil Young, and in today's show we welcome Rob Williams, a man of many talents who lives in Bidford-on-Avon in Warwickshire. Rob, please can you introduce yourself to the audience?
Hi audience, my name is Rob Williams, and I know Neil through various business interests. A bit about me, I'm a parish councillor in Bidford. I'm the chair of the Board of Governors at our local school. I'm a community first responder. I'm a business owner. I'm an area manager for St John Ambulance. I'm also unit lead for 2 St John Ambulance units for cadets, badgers and adults. I'm also emergency ambulance crew with St John. That's about me, really. Oh, and I own a business. And I've got an allotment. I have an allotment. I dig holes. Yay!
Just a few things there. So that to me sounds like, to most people, probably, a 20 or 30 year career, but you're doing all of these things simultaneously, Rob. Is that correct?
Yeah, all at the same time. As my motto is, sleeping is for wimps. So you don't need to sleep. That gives you a whole extra 12 hours in every day. But the unit leads is a couple of nights a week. Area managering is, again, a night a week, maybe. Parish councillor once every fortnight, plus a bit of spare reading. I've just taken on the role of chair of governor, so I'm not quite sure how much time that's going to eat up yet. Business takes the rest of the time, and ambulance driving and CFR is an as and when. So
Yeah,
it's all in.
And sleep as and when as well, I assume, based on all of that.
Yeah, once every couple of days or so, an hour or two, here or there.
Perfect. Now, I can tell from your accent that obviously you're not from Warwickshire originally, but but how did you end up in Warwickshire, and what does the region mean to you, Rob?
Well, I was born in Birmingham, as you may guess, and lived there until pretty much I was 28 when I met my beloved, who was also born in Birmingham, but she had moved out to Redditch via Germany, because don't you, everybody? So when we got together, I moved out to Redditch to be with her. We were there for 15 years. And when our daughter came along, we looked at the schools that we could see, and we didn't like them very much. We looked around and we ended up coming out to Warwickshire and Bidford, and we found a school, and it was amazing. The headmistress was amazing. The school was brilliant. So we moved, and we have been here ever since.
Fantastic. And happy with the move then?
Absolutely. This is our forever home now. I think everybody muses about, what would we do if we won the lottery? And if I won the lottery, I'd buy the next door house so that we've got 2 houses, and then that would be it. Wouldn't be going anywhere else. We love where we are.
No, fantastic. Now, obviously, you talked about your various roles, the governor, the parish councillor. So clearly, community is very important to you, Rob. Tell me a bit about that.
Well, yes. Community is everything to me. There is family first, but the wider community is also our family. Us human beings, we are social animals. You put a human being alone and they soon start talking to themselves for company. So they will make inanimate objects like Wilson, the volleyball, did for Tom Hanks. It's a thing that we are. We can't get away from being social. So once you are in that mode of actually, I want to be social with people, you then start to give of yourself. It's actually, I've enjoyed being in the village I live in, so why would I not try to make the village the best it can be for other people when they come in? And if that means I can do a little bit of ambulance work, or I can be on the parish council to try and make things better, or be better for the kids who go to the school, why wouldn't I want to do that? If I have the time, the energy, the capability and the skills, then it's a bit of a no-brainer to me. And I would have thought everybody should be the same, because they want the best for the community they live in.
Yeah, fantastic. And I'm sure you're kind of well admired in the community for the work that you do. In terms of your parish councillor role, what tell me more about that. What does that look like on a monthly basis for yourself, and what are the type of topics that you deal with?
Well, if you go to social media, it's usually they should do this, they should do that, they should do the other. But as a parish council, we quite often get confused as to what powers we have. We can't look at verges. We don't look at roads. We don't look at pedestrian crossings because that's all either the county or the district. What we tend to look after is public open spaces, street lighting. There has been a push recently for parish councils to take over the street lighting. So we do have a program of replacing those with either solar powered and or LED lighting to reduce power consumption. The public open spaces, we look after play areas. So that's make sure that the equipment is up to date. It's the best equipment we can get for the money. We look at picnic benches and seating for people, try and put them in the best places. So if you're walking from the shops and there's a slight incline, then maybe put a chair halfway up so that the slightly older people can have a sit down and a rest. We look at planning issues. That is probably the main thing that we do. So if you want to build a 2-story extension to your house and it goes halfway down your garden, we would probably look at that and say no, because it takes away from everybody else's amenity. We have a thing called the Neighbourhood Development Plan, and it was a survey that the parish council and others carried out a few years ago to find out the wishes of the people, how they wanted to see the village developed, what they would like to see, what they don't want to see, where they want to see the things. And that is our guidebook, if you will, of this is what people want, so we can promote that. This is what people don't want, so we can avoid this when it comes up. It's a varied role. It's underappreciated because, as I say, people think we can do more than we can, but we do what we can and guide them to the right place if we can't do anything about it.
Fantastic. And obviously, as a resident of Bidford, kind of you're there to, kind of protect its future and kind of maintain everything as well, which is fantastic.
Indeed, it's almost the status quo because you always have people who want to build something different, do something different, and in its place, it's a good thing. But actually, it's what is for the greater good.
Yeah, custodian.
For instance, we have an issue at the moment. Somebody wants to change something which will benefit them, which is fair enough. We would all say, can I have it this way because it suits me? But then there's a group or body of people that it would inconvenience. So you then weigh up that actually this person wants this change because they live close to this thing, but actually a lot of people use this thing, so it would not suit them. So which way do you fall?
Yeah.
And it can sometimes be quite contentious.
Yeah, I can imagine. Now, if you were appointed for another job, Rob, and appointed to the tourist board for Warwickshire, what would be the focus of your promotions? How would you get visitors to Warwickshire?
It's the beauty of the area. It's just on the edge of the Cotswold. Well, Warwickshire spreads quite a distance. So you've got Atherstone by Tamworth in the north, coming all the way down to by Bidford in the south, and which also takes in Coventry. So you have industrial, you have work heritage on that side, but also you have agriculture, the beauty of the countryside. You have historic Warwick and Kenilworth, the castles. You have the industrial centre of Coventry and the cathedrals. So it's almost a smorgasbord of things to see, which everybody would find something to enjoy there. It's not just this is what we have and that's all there is. It's actually a huge amount of variety that people could get their teeth into. So I think it would be fair to say that there is something for everybody in Warwickshire.
Yeah, definitely. There's lots of things on the doorstep for families, kind of older couples, younger couples, children, etc.
Whatever your thing is, somewhere in Warwickshire it is done.
Yeah, fantastic. And obviously, one of the things that you're involved in is local theatre. So, tell me a bit about that, Rob.
Amateur dramatics. Yes. No. Oh, yes. Oh, matron. No. basically, my daughter got me a little bit involved in it. When she was 5, she wanted to join St John Badgers, which did first aid thing. But one of the things that they did was like a gang show type thing, and they did a huge review, which she was involved in. But because of that, I got dragged along, and that's sort of where the bug originally bit me. We did those. They're probably 15 years ago. But after that, my mum's partner, he was in a local amateur dramatic group and asked if I fancied going along. So I did. I joined in, and there was 3 or 4 pantos that we did where I became the dame. I became renowned as being the dame. But the next panto we're doing is Greece, which, okay, that's fine. I've also got involved with the Priory Theatre in Kenilworth in their pantos and a few other productions. Second Thoughts Theatre Group in Stratford at the Bear Pit. And it's just really, really good fun. It's nice to be somebody else for a change, where you have no worries. You have a part, you play it, and you can bring yourself to it. You can express yourself in however way you want. It's a blank canvas. That's what it gives to me. It's the ability to just go out there, have a little bit of fun, even on a serious parties, have a little bit of fun, and just for an hour or two, bring some pleasure to other people.
Please excuse this brief interruption. This podcast is made possible by Plan with Neil. Plan with Neil is an independent financial advisor from Coventry, helping people improve their financial well-being by supporting them with retirement planning, life insurance, and much more. Please check out the website planwithneil.com and book a free discovery session today. Now, back to the podcast. Yeah, fantastic. And again, it links back in terms of, the community aspect as well, and, going to, the local pantos and seeing you all dolled up with all your makeup, Rob.
Yeah, that's what I'm like on the weekends, but we won't go there.
Yeah, no, that's right. Now,
people
changing tack slightly, if I was to give you £100 million to improve Warwickshire, Rob, what would be the focus of your money? Where would you spend that?
Be youth and community, I think. That without getting into the politics of it, I think the youth could do with a little more direction. So where good works have been done, there are various things about. I know there's a youth shack in Bidford. I know that there's stuff going on in Kenilworth. I know Coventry have got some good things going on, but it's always lack of funding. And I think if you have funding for the youth, everything else falls into place, because if the youth are funded, they are happier, more together, more wholesome people, because of the stuff that they can learn in a friendly but challenging environment, which leads on to being better adults, which then leads on to actually having more care in the community, a more community spirit. And from that, you get an awful lot of well-being that would possibly filter down and make the communities better.
Yeah, it's very much got a bottom-up approach, supporting the youth and then kind of, them creating the communities of the future.
Yeah. And I think it ever has been that the youth get looked upon as, oh, they're trouble, they've got nothing to do, they'll just roam the streets. Well, actually, they have got stuff to do, but a lot of the times it's having the motivation to go and do it, having the awareness to go and do stuff. I mean, there's the Duke of Edinburgh Award, which, that's something that posh people do. Well, actually, it isn't. Anybody can do the Duke of Edinburgh Award. And St John Ambulance has a similar sort of thing in the Grand Prior Award, similar sort of layout. And the two are interchangeable. So if you've done a Duke of Edinburgh Bronze Award, there's elements of that you can use for the St John Grand Prior, and vice versa. There's chunks of the Grand Prior that you can put into the Duke of Edinburgh. So there is stuff there. It's more an awareness, and youth leaders able to provide that to the youth to say, okay, this is the place. We have, instead of one night a month, or in Bidford, we've got one night a week where we've got a number that can go. Actually, we are open every night. We can do days, we can do nights, and we have a youth worker or youth workers who are funded to be able to provide that.
Yeah. Yeah, the resources and the money to provide those and the focus on that. Yeah, no, sounds fantastic.
If you could send that 100 million to my account, I'll make sure we start working on it tomorrow.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll transfer it after the call for you, Rob. Okay.
Excellent. It's I'll give you my numbered account. It's in the Cayman Islands. And okay,
fantastic. Okay. So in terms of the next bit, in terms of people that you associate with Warwickshire, is there one person that you associate with Warwickshire and why?
Oh yes, Billy Shakespeare. He's got to be top of the list because he's
never heard of him.
Nah, I think you're making much ado about nothing there. But, in these times of our discontent, there's something rotten in the Kingdom of Denmark. But apart from that, William Shakespeare, there's such a breadth of ability in his works. It's not just some boring old bloke on a stage reciting Hamlet. You can bring it into the modern day, and I have seen some amazing productions of King Lear on a council housing estate with modern speech, but ultimately it is still that story.
Yeah.
So when you look at the Twilight trilogies, and it's all of that is actually Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah. Yeah, the structure of so many kind of modern tales is just respinning, a Shakespeare play, isn't it?
That's it, exactly. So he's got a lot to answer for. He's got a lot to be proud of, and he is a Warwickshire boy.
Yeah, no, fantastic. Now, in terms of favourite places in Warwickshire, what would be your favourite place in Warwickshire?
I bet you can't guess.
I'm going to guess Bidford.
Oh, yeah. Well done, man. It is. I mean, funnily enough, you look at the place and you think, the high street's a bit run down, there's lots of new houses being built. But actually, there's an awful lot of history in Bidford. For instance, I think it was about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, somebody was metal detecting in one of the fields just over the river from the main village, and they found a hoard of Roman coins because it was actually part of the salt route, and that's where they crossed the River Avon, just up a little bit from where the current bridge is. And they found a load of Roman coins. There's Anglo-Saxon burial goods been found in, it's funnily enough, it's called the Anglo-Saxon car park because they found Anglo-Saxon goods. The church is very, very old, and there's a lot of history there that isn't sort of shouted about or promoted. So, yeah, that is my favourite place.
Yeah, no, that sounds quite fascinating. Kind of to think of how long people have been there in the area and the different lives that have been led in just a relatively small place.
Around about 1,000 years, Bidford has been a settlement, as it were, from humble beginnings to just being a ford across the river up to being the almost town it is now.
Yeah. No, absolutely fantastic. And are there any hidden gems in Warwickshire that you'd recommend to people to seek out?
Yes, I would, if you can, go to Stoneleigh Abbey. And if you can, and find out when, Paul Sanders is the guide there. He is absolutely amazing. He knows the history inside out, and he actually brings it to life for you. He is one of my colleagues from the Pantos at Priory Theatre. I believe he's in the Panto there this Christmas. But as a guide, he brings so much energy and knowledge to the whole performance that you almost feel like you're living the time. So that would be my hidden gem.
Fantastic. I'll have to seek that out and stuff. And when you've got an enthusiastic host, it makes a big difference in terms of bringing to life all of the history and the background of it as well.
He's very, very good. And a thoroughly nice chap as well. Don't tell him that, though, because you'll get big-headed.
No, that's fine. We won't tell him that.
No, keep it secret.
Okay. Now, is there anything you miss from the past that you'd want to bring back, Rob?
It's a difficult one because everything changes. So, even now, you look back and you go, oh, 3 years ago there was this, or 4 years ago there was that. But actually, we've moved on with the time. So, obviously, I'd like to bring the villaginess back of the village. But then there was less stuff to do in the village when there was a smaller village. So, not really. Sometimes I wish the pace of change wouldn't be quite so pacey.
Yeah.
And, we just cruised along at same old for just a short while. But no, I think the pace of things such as now that actually even village life is not as pacey as it could be. So it is enjoyable. So enjoy the now, because as always, tomorrow isn't guaranteed.
No, definitely not. And describing Warwickshire to outsiders, how would you describe it?
I'd say it's a game of two halves. So you've got the rural, Bidford, Ulster, Welford, all those small villages and the hamlets in. So they're very rural, surrounded by fields and greenery, agriculture, an awful lot of fruit growing and such like. And then you've got the industrial lumps like Coventry and going up to Atherstone, you've got the canal network around there and everything in between. So you've got quite a distinct two bits to Warwickshire. So you've got the industrial Coventry, and you've got the rural Bidford, Welford, Atherstone, that sort of thing. So it's quite an interesting. That's why it's got so much to offer, because there's quite two distinct parts to it.
Yeah, definitely. It's it thrives on those differences really, and the variety. In the same way as talking, obviously, the things for the youth earlier on and things for older people as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. Just a few quick fire questions for you now. You've already answered your favourite kind of Warwickshire place.
Yeah.
But in terms of castles, do you prefer Kenilworth Castle or Warwick Castle, Rob?
Kenilworth
Castle. I thought that might be the case with that. And what about the old cathedral in Coventry or the new cathedral in Coventry?
I'll be honest, I don't know either particularly well to make that choice. I have been to the new cathedral and sat in a service there for the Coventry Diocese Schools, and I've been to or done a first aid event at the old cathedral, and I can't say either impacted me much.
Okay, fair enough. Maybe another visit's kind of due then to kind of have a look and kind of compare and contrast. And next time I speak to you, I'll ask you. Test your knowledge. Okay, fantastic. Well, they're all the questions I've got time for on today's podcast, Rob. But where can people find out more about yourself, your business? All the things that you do, what's the best way of finding out all these things?
I could tell you, but then I'd have to kill you. So business is www.ersoffice.co.uk. That'll tell you about the business on Facebook.
And what does ERS Office do?
We do absolutely everything. So if you can think of it, we do it. We are an office supplies, office equipment, office furniture, and all things officey supplier. And we supply retail as well as business. So if you want just a packet of pens, we can do that. If you want a container full of pens, we can do that as well.
Fantastic.
And of course, if you want to find me on Facebook, you can and say hi. Both ERS Office Supplies is on Facebook, and so am I.
Perfect. Brilliant. Well, it's great to chat to you today, Rob. I look forward to catching up with you again soon. But thanks everyone for listening.
And thank you.
Brilliant. Bye, guys.